When you think of manga, what comes to mind? Maybe it's the neon-drenched streets of Tokyo, the action-packed pages of Shonen Jump, or the iconic characters that have become global superstars. But what if I told you that the real story of manga did even start in the 20th century? What if its roots go back nearly 1,000 years to a time of monks, scrolls, and frolicking animals? Today, we're unrolling the incredible history of manga, a journey from ancient paper scrolls to the digital screens in our pockets. This is the Paper Revolution. Our story begins not in a bustling city, but in a quiet temple during the 12th century. This is where Buddhist monks created what many consider the very first manga, the Chugiga, or the Scrolls of Frolicking Animals. If you look closely at these delicate inkwash drawings, you'll see something revolutionary. Rabbits and monkeys are engaged in sumo wrestling. Frogs are carrying on in a mock ceremony. There are no speech bubbles, no panels, but there is undeniable movement and narrative. By arranging these drawings sequentially, these ancient artists were telling a story. Frame by frame, they were capturing humor, satire, and life itself in flowing ink. This wasn't just art. It was visual storytelling in its most primal form. The very first seeds of manga had been planted, waiting centuries to sprout. Let's jump forward about 600 years to the Edo period in Japan, a time of incredible cultural flourishing. Art was breaking free from the exclusive domain of the aristocracy and finding its way into the hands of the common people. This new wave of popular art was called ukiyo-e, or pictures of the floating world. Through woodblock printing, artists could mass-produce vibrant, colorful images of kabuki actors, beautiful courtesans, and scenes from folklore and daily life. And it was in this explosive artistic environment, in the year 1814, that a name was finally given to this emerging style. The legendary artist Katsushika Hokusai, a man you probably know from his iconic Great Wave off Kanagawa, published a series of sketchbooks. He called them Hokusai manga. The word manga itself roughly translates to whimsical pictures or impromptu sketches. These weren't a single continuous story like we know today. Instead, they were a vibrant collection of thousands of drawings, capturing everything from nature and animals to ghosts and gods. Hokusai's manga was a visual encyclopedia of life, spirit, and humor, and with it, he gave a name to an art form that would one day conquer the world. For centuries, Japan had been a world unto itself, largely isolated from outside influence. But in the late 19th century, during the Meiji Restoration, the country's borders flew open. Along with trade and technology, a flood of Western culture poured in, and with it came something that would change Japanese art forever: the political cartoon. Satirical magazines from Britain and America, like Punch, introduced Japanese artists to new techniques. They saw panel layouts, sequential frames, and, most importantly, speech bubbles. It was a revelation. One artist, in particular, saw the incredible potential in this fusion. His name was Rakuten Kitazawa, and today, many call him the founding father of modern manga. Kitazawa took the panel structure and dialogue balloons of the West and blended them with traditional Japanese themes and art styles. He created some of the first serialized comic strips for newspapers, telling ongoing stories that captivated the public. Manga was no longer just a collection of whimsical sketches. Thanks to this collision of cultures, it was evolving into a structured, narrative medium, setting the stage for the titans to come. The aftermath of World War II left Japan a nation in ruins, grappling with devastation and searching for a new identity. But in the midst of this rubble, a new kind of hero was about to emerge. Not a warrior or a politician, but a young medical student with a passion for drawing, Osamu Tezuka. Tezuka didn't just contribute to manga, he completely redefined it. He was obsessed with the fluid, expressive animation of American studios like Disney and Fleischer. He wondered, could he bring that same sense of cinematic motion to a static page? The answer was a resounding yes. Tezuka introduced a whole new visual language to manga. He used dynamic panel layouts that felt like camera shots, dramatic close-ups to show emotion, wide pans to establish a scene, and explosive action lines that made his characters practically leap off the page. In 1947, his work New Treasure Island sold an unheard of 400,000 copies, proving there was a massive appetite for this new style. But it was with his creation Astro Boy that he cemented his legacy. Astro Boy wasn't just an action hero. He was a character with a soul, struggling with his identity and place in the world. Tezuka infused his stories with deep themes of life, death, and humanity. He gave manga its heart, and in doing so, earned a title he holds to this day: the God of Manga. By the 1960s, manga was a dominant force in Japanese pop culture. But it was also starting to feel a bit uniform. Much of the mainstream manga, heavily influenced by Tezuka, was aimed at a younger audience. But what about the adults? A group of artists felt that manga could be more, that it could tackle darker, more complex subjects. This rebellion gave birth to the Geikiga movement, which literally means dramatic pictures. Led by artists like Yoshihiro Tatsumi, Geikiga was the antithesis of the bright, optimistic world of Astro Boy. It was gritty, realistic, and psychologically intense, exploring the struggles of everyday life, crime, and social alienation. It was manga for grown-ups. At the same time, another equally important revolution was happening, this one led by women. For years, shoujo manga, or manga for girls, had been largely created by male artists and focused on simple, idealized romances. But a collective of female artists, known as the Year 24 Group, changed everything. Old tastes, like Moto Hagio and Keiko Tokumiya, took control of the genre. They started telling stories with unprecedented psychological depth, exploring complex themes like gender identity, philosophy, and intricate human relationships. They gave their characters and their readers a new level of emotional complexity. The era of diversification had arrived. Manga was no longer just for kids, and it was no longer just for boys. It was finally for everyone. If the 60s and 70s were about diversification, the 1980s and 90s were about domination. This was the golden age, period, when manga exploded into an unprecedented cultural phenomenon, both at home and abroad. At the heart of this explosion were weekly manga magazines, and none was more powerful than Weekly Shonen Jump. This magazine became a cultural juggernaut, a kingmaker that launched series that would become household names across the globe. We're talking about legends. Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball wasn't just a hit in Japan, it became a global bridge. The story of Goku's journey, centered on the universal themes of effort, friendship, and victory, resonated with audiences everywhere, regardless of language or culture. Soon, other giants followed, like One Piece, Naruto, and Slam Dunk. These series didn't just sell millions of copies. They created a shared cultural language for an entire generation. For the first time, Japanese manga began to seriously outperform Western comics, even in their own markets. It was a seismic shift in global entertainment. Manga had transformed from a Japanese pastime into a worldwide force, a testament to the power of compelling stories and unforgettable characters. Today, the paper revolution has become a digital one. The way we read manga continues to evolve at lightning speed. We scroll through vertical webtoons on our phones during our morning commute. We buy digital volumes with a single click, and we can access a near-infinite library of stories through subscription apps. The medium is constantly mutating, adapting to new technologies and new audiences. But as much as things have changed, the core spirit of manga remains the same. That same desire to capture a story through the power of a line, which began with those 12th century monks and their frolicking animals, is still there. From the inkwash of an ancient silk scroll to the pixels on a smartphone screen, manga's journey is a story about adaptation and imagination. It's a medium that has consistently pushed boundaries to tell stories that are whimsical, dramatic, tragic, and deeply human. It has changed the way the world tells stories, and its next chapter is still being written. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through the history of manga. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content about the stories that shape our world. Let us know in the comments what your favorite manga series is and why. Until next time, keep reading.